The music is ending, and now it's time for us to start talking.
That's right. Music
Yeah.
ends, we talk. Hello,
Yeah.
Carol.
Hi, Boyd.
And
How are
hello,
you?
everybody. I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing great, too.
Good, good. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 3 of When Banks Say No, the podcast.
Yes.
Today, we're going to be looking at one of our successful fundings. We're actually going to break apart the credit report and the factors that made it possible to get this lovely lady, Nicole, in Illinois, the money she wanted. Actually, a little bit more money than she wanted. But we'll talk about that too, because that was a nice win. So, Carol, as we talk with so many clients every day, one of our really popular offerings is this syndicated line of credit. And that is the tool that allows us to give funding to startups and young businesses, 0% interest, up to $120,000, 12 months or longer, right? Really very popular.
Right.
And in this case, this is what Nicole asked for. And do you remember how Nicole found us? Who'd she come through?
To Dr. Kizzy Parks and Coach Jay.
Coach Jay, yep, through Kizzy Parks and Coach Jay. There's a huge world of government contracting out there, and we have found that this syndicated line of credit is a terrific choice for those who are getting into government contracting. They need some kind of upfront cash or credit or both in order to buy a commodity that they're going to resell to the government, or they're getting some services going, and they need that cash or credit to get going. And so Kizzy and Coach Jay have had us on their programs. And so Nicole came through Coach Jay. And so she's in government contracting, and she needed $50,000 to get her deal going. Okay. So when she applied with us, our system automatically will do what's called a soft pull on her credit. What impact does a soft pull have on anyone's credit?
Zero. We
Zero.
can do as many as we want every day, all day,
Sure.
and it won't affect your credit
No
report,
impact.
your credit at all. That's
That's
one of the first things that people ask, like, hey, I don't want you have an inquiry or just have something to report. No worries.
No worries. And it gives us everything we need to see how much you qualify for and what options to walk you through.
Yes.
So we did a soft pull on Nicole's credit. And do you remember what her FICO score was?
Yes, 779. Really good one.
Yes. So what we work with we start with a 680.
Yes.
So she was well above that, right? 779. So
yes, which means that she is really good at taking care of her credit. So that was a good indicator for us. When we saw the name and we saw the score, we were like, okay.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah. If you're over 700, congratulations. I mean, that's a great place to be. And 750 and higher is considered, just outstanding. And so she was at 779. So at first glance, we thought, okay, this looks promising, right? So then the next thing we look at, besides the credit score, it all starts with the credit score. The next thing we look at in this case is how much of her existing credit is she utilizing? And in her case, do you remember what she was using?
Yes, her overall utilization, it was 42%.
42.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ideally, it will be 35, but this one we can work with.
Yep. We can go up to 45%. We used to not be able to do that. We had to be 30% or lower for our clients, but now we can go 45% or lower. So she was 42. So good enough, right? Yeah. So that worked. Okay. So just to clarify what credit utilization means is if you have a $10,000 credit limit, you're not using more than 45% of it at any time. So $4,500 balance. That's acceptable within the world of lending. So she was under that. So great candidate. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Carol, after we look at FICO score and after we look at credit card utilization, what's the third thing we look at before we get somebody funded?
Yes, third and super important, the derogatory comments or negative comments. That also is very important for any of the lenders or banks that also in the future will accept funding or and look into the credit of that person. So
Yep.
derogatory accounts, she had zero, non
Zero.
history as well. So that
Right.
tells us that
So
is a really good candidate.
what are examples of derogatory comments that are left on a credit report?
When someone missed the house payment,
Oh, well,
or
that's the big one right
yeah,
there. If you miss
yeah,
a house payment,
yeah, or your
yep,
car
okay.
payment,
Mm-hmm.
your educational credit, like if you're paying those student loans, please,
Mm-hmm.
please, please pay
You're
those.
late. They hate it when you're
Yeah,
late. Yep.
no late payments on
Charge
credit
offs
cards. Yes,
or
absolutely.
collections.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Anything in
no,
dispute, we don't like to see those.
no,
Okay.
no, that's not good for their credit record. Yeah.
No. But in Nicole's case,
No, it was clean, nothing, not even
squeaky clean.
history.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which,
Hers was perfect. So she had perfect payment history. Nothing had been late ever that could be recorded.
mhm,
So she had excellent FICO score, acceptable credit card utilization, and had
yeah,
no derogatory comments of any kind whatsoever. So
no.
she was looking pretty good, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So what comes after that? What's that underlying thing that we look for, assuming you get past those first three? What's that underlying foundation that we look for that helps us know what to expect they'll be able to get?
Also, the open revolving accounts to
Mm-hmm.
see how much of the credit limit they have, how many credit cards, their credit cards
Yes. Mhm.
history,
Yep.
and hers as well. It was excellent. Like
Yep.
she had a couple of Chase credit cards with great credit limits. They were
Big
high.
limits. Yep.
Yes, one
Yep.
into the 18,000s, the other one almost 18,000s, and then a
Yep.
Discovery Bank, the
Yep.
24,000. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Banks want to see that other banks have already trusted you. And so in
Mhm.
her case, where she had already had some very good high limit cards, it makes all the other banks say, oh, okay, this isn't a risk. Let's go ahead and extend more credit to this person. It's much easier for a bank to issue credit to somebody than it is to actually loan them cash,
Mhm.
because it's cash out of the vault, right? And cash is king.
Yeah.
But credit it's ethereal and it's out there, and they make lots of money on the transaction charge, and so they're happy to extend that credit, but they need to see that somebody already has at least a decent foundation of credit cards.
Mhm.
And they can't be too old either. If you remember a few weeks ago, we had a husband and wife team where they had not applied for a new credit card in 20 years.
Yeah.
And so when we went to market to try to get the money, the banks were asking us, "Are you sure
Yeah.
these people are alive?" Because
Exactly. Are they real or is someone
yeah,
else trying to get a
right.
credit card
Yep,
in their name?
it set
Yeah.
off fraud alerts,
Mhm.
and they ended up actually getting nothing because it
Mhm.
had been so long since they had applied for credit anywhere. The banks were very suspicious. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what about somebody who is younger and recently got their first credit card, like with Capital One, and they have a balance of $1,000? How do the banks look at that?
Yes, not well because there's very little. They're just starting to have a credit history, which is the case
Mm-hmm.
of my oldest son. Just starting.
Uh-huh.
They need to have a thicker credit history. Hopefully, in a couple years or a year, they can go to the bank, talk to your banker, and say, "Hey, can you please, maybe upgrade my credit limit? Let's
Right.
see, establish a relationship here." That will
Mm-hmm.
be great.
Yep. Yeah, so it's unfortunate, I guess is probably the right word. Sad is too sad a word, but
Mhm.
it's unfortunate when we get somebody who has a great credit score, very low credit card utilization, but they only have one or two credit cards already. The
Mhm.
banks just say, "Oh no, thanks, we don't want to take that risk," and so we're not able to get as much for people in those situations. And
Yeah.
so, like
Eh,
you said, we just encourage them to maybe go try and get one directly at the bank or something. lease a car, I mean, something
Yeah.
to make that credit thicker, give some more history
Yes, and
to that
we have
credit.
so many phone calls like those. Young
Yeah.
entrepreneurs that are so eager to start their new business. They have
Yep.
all their business plan. They have all the energy, great attitude, but very, very young credit, small
Yep.
credit.
Yeah.
So it's sad, but that's what we need to start working on.
Yep.
Hmm.
Get that credit built. When I
Hmm.
was here's an embarrassing personal story. When I was 23, I went and leased a car. I leased a brand new car. It was a Volkswagen Golf, and the payment was just incredibly low. And I signed the papers and I drove the car home. And the next day, they called me and said, actually, you don't have enough credit history to have completed this lease. We have to get a cosigner. So
Oh.
I had to call my dad and ask him to co-sign this lease that they'd let me drive away with. I mean, it was very irresponsible and maybe a little predatory on their end to let me take it home and then make me ask for a cosigner. They should have got the cosigner first.
First.
We are much more careful than that. But that's tough when you don't have a lot of credit history. My score was great, but I didn't have a lot of history. So
Hmm.
there's more to it than just the score. Um,
Hmm.
so we want to help coach everybody up on how to build that credit as well and add to that history as quickly as they can, as
Hmm.
thoroughly as they can. So, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So that reminded me, how do we know how much we think we can get for somebody once we look at their credit report? Because that's always the first thing. Hey, how much do you think I can get? Right?
Yes, and that is a great question. In her case, for example, when we look at their credit cards,
Mm-hmm.
so we look at the three most recent ones, right?
Yep.
And then the average goes times three or times five,
Yep.
depending
Yep.
for the range. And so it will be like between the 30, 50. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
For the
Average
limits.
average
Mm-hmm.
the credit limits of their three most recent cards. Now, if they only have two, okay, we can only average two or one, but ideally there's three. Average those together, multiply that average by 3 to get the bottom range and by 5 to get the top range. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's when people talk to us, we can say, okay, our system is telling us we think we can get you between 30 or 50 or 50 and 100. Or we had one earlier this week, it was like between 80 and 120
Mm-hmm.
thousand. So it's that range, and we're pretty good at hitting that range.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, sometimes we hit it right on. Now, let's talk about the cap that we can put on
Mm-hmm.
a credit raise request. What does it mean when we put a cap on somebody?
Yes, we have customers, and we always, when we have our introductory call, touch bases on all of that. So they'll know that there's that possibility as well. Let's say, for example, in her case, she only wanted
Mm-hmm,
50,000. And well, we were able to get her more,
mm-hmm.
52,000, but she said like, okay, let's cap it.
Cap it.
And which means that up until we get that money, the 50,000, we keep that percentage of our um
Or success fee.
success fee.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Success
Yep.
fee. And then um whatever we can get more for her, that's great.
It's just a
Good for
bonus.
her. Yes, it's a
Yeah.
bonus
Yeah.
for her. And it was great because for in her case, she was just looking for 50,000 and she was
Yep.
able to get 52,000.
Got a
So
little extra. And we've done that
yeah.
several times in which they end up with more than they asked for, but they're
Yeah.
not paying for more than they want to pay for. So,
Mm-hmm.
just to explain, if it's your first time hearing about it, we do charge a 10% success fee. That's our typical fee when we raise cash or credit for you. And because these conversations with the banks can go on over a day or two, if we happen to hit the $50,000 limit, for example, and then 3 hours later another bank comes back and says, "Yeah, we'll do 10 more." Well, then you've raised $60,000. We can't stop on a dime, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but if you said, I only want to pay for $50,000 worth of new credit, fine. If we ended up
Yes.
getting you 60, you only paid for 50. So it's a bonus. And people like that. So
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, so she was one of those clients.
she was one of those. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly right. So this was a great success story, obviously, with Nicole. Now let's talk about the times where we can't help somebody.
Yes.
What's the number one reason we can't help somebody? Has to do with their credit score.
Yes, the number one reason is when they do have derogatory accounts or negative comments.
Or their
Yes.
credit card utilization is too high.
Credit card
Yep.
utilization is too high,
Mhm.
and then also don't have too much credit history. So,
That's right. And we touched on that for sure. So
yeah.
if somebody's credit score is too low, we'll usually say we can't help you today, but we might be able to help you tomorrow. And
Hmm.
we'll pick apart a credit report and help identify what the obstacles are or what the things are that might be holding somebody back and make recommendations. Um, when when the credit card utilization is too high, we can actually send the person a chart to say, here are the two or three cards or more that are overutilized, and here's how much you need to pay down to get those into the proper ratios. And people appreciate that when we send those to them. Yep.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
then the hardest thing, well, then there's also sometimes too many inquiries, right?
Yes. And
And we have our special friend our special attorney friend who excels in removing unwanted inquiries
yes,
from
our
the credit
inquiries
report.
specialist.
He is.
Yeah.
and then if there's a lot of late payments or collections listed or
Yeah.
charge-offs, we send them to
Mhm. To ASAP repair, which
ASAP.
they're great too. And you
Yep.
just we send them the link, they fill the application, they will contact them. There we create like a Google Drive folder so they can take a look of the derogatory comments, the things that they need to help with. And actually, a lot of our clients, if not all of them, have come with great, really success. They're
Yep.
being eliminated and their score up.
The score goes up. Yep. Anytime
uh,
your score goes up, you pay less for stuff. That's just a fact.
yeah, so I love
Yep.
when we say like this is not the end of the road because it is not.
Exactly.
It'll take time, yes.
Yep.
But once you be able to repair the credit and those negative comments, start things will start to look better and your credit score start going higher. And then if you take care of the inquiries as well, and we usually ask like at least 3 or 4 maximum,
In a 24-month period.
Yes. And then also um the credit score looking to see higher,
Yep.
the 680.
Always want that higher. Yep.
Hmm.
Exactly. Exactly. So a lot of people have written back to us and said, "Oh, thank you for that referral to ASAP Credit Repair. They did a great job for me." So
Hmm.
we appreciate their help a lot.
Yeah, and we also recommend the people if you can do it yourself, you wanna take the chance to call yourself to the banks or to. We also gave that information that we have on our
That's true.
report. We send it to them and try it yourself first. And if it doesn't work, let's work with our
Yeah.
friends at ASAP Repair or with our friend Daniel,
A friend
our
Daniel. Yeah.
our and inquiry specialist, and we have great history of success with both of them.
Yes. That
Mhm.
reminds me of a client back in April who said, she didn't want to pay somebody else to remove her inquiry. So I sent her the
The list.
how-to sheet. And the next day she said, give me the guy's number. I'm going to pay him. I don't want to do it myself.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was funny. And he
Mhm.
got him done. And she got funded too. She was
Mhm.
another one where she got funded much more than she'd actually asked for.
Yes,
And thanks to the cap.
and you pay directly to them whatever they charge for the job they have to
Yeah.
do. Just
Yeah.
it's between you and them. Mhm.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. Okay. Well, we've covered a lot today. We picked apart Nicole's Nicole's credit report and explained why she did so well on her funding request. So to review, the first and most important thing we look at is the credit score.
Mhm.
And
above
then
680.
above 680, and then the utilization, which should be below
45 at
45, right?
least.
Yep. And then we want the inquiries to be below 4.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to see any derogatory comments.
No.
Maybe a late payment here or there is okay. But if there's a bunch of them, we're going to send it to our friends at ASAP Credit Repair.
Yeah,
And then
you have to be careful with those because we have cases of just like a late payment on your phone, like let's say T-Mobile, oh, they won't take it off. It just, so avoid those.
Yeah, and just right or wrong, just pay it and get it off your report as fast as you can because it's holding you back. Swallow your pride if you have to, and just get rid of it. Okay.
I have a good question for you that I know
Okay.
probably some of our viewers might be asking, like how long,
Hit
if
me.
you have already those derogatory comments or notes, how long it takes to those to take off, like be gone for good?
Great question. We get asked that often, don't we?
Yeah.
And the answer, like so many things we say, is it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on how many there are, how recent they are, because it can take. We've seen. Don't quote me on this. We have seen some taken care of in a week's time. Some will take months.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that ASAP Credit Repair can look at, and they can estimate, this is going to be a few months to do, or, no problem. This ought to be taken care of pretty quickly. But it's always going to take time. We wish we have a magic wand. They kind of do, but it still takes time.
And for example, if it's bankruptcy, that nobody wants to get one of those.
Yeah.
To be erased from your credit report, people usually ask us,
Yeah,
okay.
it will fall off after 7 or 10 years, depending on the kind it is. We just had somebody last week say, let's try it. It's been 7 years, but they ended up getting nothing. And that was frustrating. But we kind of said, no, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot here. But anyway, we'll try. Yes. Doesn't hurt to try. So
we did.
All right. And then the very last thing we talked about was the foundation of having good credit cards already. That helps a lot because the banks don't want to be the first to issue the big credit card to you. So a good foundation helps. So that's why Nicole was so successful. Those are the common denominators among our clients who do really well with the getting the syndicated line of credit. So.
And what's beautiful about it is that if she wants, or any client wants, after 15 months again, she can apply and we can try it again.
We can do it all over again. Yeah, exactly. So those cards usually come at 0% interest for at least 12 months, sometimes 15, sometimes 18. We know of one that does 24 months. But it's just set up so that every 15 months, if you want to, you can try it again. Get more funding. And the more credit you have, the easier it is to get more credit. That's just the rule of credit. The more you have, the easier it is to get more. So we'll do what we can.
Until soon, for example, the banks will be like knocking on your door and say, hey,
that's right. That's right.
Are you interested in funding?
Yeah. How about some free money? Okay. All right. Well, I think I hear the music starting again.
Yes.
It tells us our time is up. So let me ask you one parting question. If the bank says no, is that the end of the road?
No, it's not the end of the road. Called OTRO Financial.
Call us. Plenty of other roads we can go down.
We'll be glad to help.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks again. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Karol.